Hi, boys and girls. This is day 5 of science camp. I hope you've had a great time. I've had so much fun with you. And the great thing about this camp is that it's online. You can watch any of these activities anytime, any day. During the summer, you can watch it. You're like, hey, I want to make another volcano with Mrs. Ballantash. You can do that, okay? Yesterday, remember I asked you to put some water in the freezer. You were supposed to put some food coloring in it so that you could see it. And I'd like you to go get that water for me now. And you can take a minute. You can go ahead, pause me for a minute and go get your supplies. What I need you to get is a clear or a transparent cup. I need you to get the ice and I need you to get some water. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna pour some water into this cup. Okay, it's liquid water and I can see right through it, it's transparent. And then yesterday, remember I asked you to get some ice and put some food coloring in it. And that's what I've got here. I've got water that has turned into a solid, okay? And I'm going to put it into the water. Okay. And it's going to start melting. Ooh, and look what's happening to the food coloring. So the water, the ice that's melting is cold. And I can see that the cold ice water is sinking. And the reason I can see that is because I put some food coloring in it. I'm gonna see if you can get a little closer. You can see it. The ice, as it melts, the water is heavier. Things that are cold, except for ice, which I'll talk about in just a minute, cold, super cold water is heavier than warm water. And you can see that is the case because the blue water, which is cold, is sinking. So one of the reasons that things sink is because they're denser. Oh, do you remember that density column we did? You see, I told you everything's going to come back together. That density column was talking about how thick things are. Things that are cold are denser. They sink. Things that are hot are lighter and they float. So this is an example of showing you how cold water sinks. Now, I'm going to make something called a twirler. I'm going to call it a twirler. And what I did is I just took a piece of paper and I drew a circle on it. And I'm going to cut out the outside circle. And I colored it so that I could have a little bit of color and fun. And I'm just going to cut out this big circle that I made on this piece of paper. Okay, I did something like that. I colored both sides. I have something green on the back and red on the front. And then I also had drawn a spiral. And I'm gonna cut out the spiral and I'm gonna stop when I get to the center. Okay, so I'm gonna get my scissors and I'm gonna cut out my spiral. Sometimes I do this with paper plates, but I don't have any paper plates. If you have paper plates, you can use paper plates. Makes it a little thicker. But a paper, just plain old paper is fine too. So I'm just cutting all the way around. It's gonna look kind of like a big coiled snake in a minute. Okay, see that? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a hole punch. If you have a hole punch, you can use it. If not, you can ask your parents to use a pair of scissors and poke a hole at the end. And I'm going to poke, okay, I've got my hole punch. I put a hole punch right there. Okay, and I'm going to get a piece of string and I'm going to tie it through that hole. And if I get ahead of you, just push the pause button and you can catch up, right? You can always stop me and catch up with me, okay? All right. Now, boys and girls, so I had the ice You can still see the blue is sinking. I have the ice water, but I also have something over here, and I don't want you to do this at home. I just want you to watch me. I have a hot plate, and it's on, and it's pretty hot. Ooh, I can feel the heat coming right up off of it. And when I use my twirler over the top of it, because of the shape of the twirler, the hot air that is rising up off of my hot plate is going to make my twirler spin. Do you see over here? It's not spinning, nothing's happening. But when I put it over the hot plate, it's spinning because the hot air rises. Hot things rise and cold things sink. Hot things rise and cold things sink. One of the reasons hot air rises is because it becomes less dense as it gets heated up. The reason that cold things sink is because they become more dense, thicker as they get colder, and they sink. So remember that density column we made? This has to do with that. Now, remember when we made our volcano and I talked to you about the parts of the earth? Let's look at that again. So here's the inner core. It's super hot. It's as hot as the surface of the sun. And it is having the heat leave the core and is being transferred to the outer core, and then the outer core's heat is transferred to the mantle. And remember, in the mantle, that's where there's some rock that can melt. And when the rock gets hot, the hot rock rises up because it's less dense. And then as it gets closer to the crust, it starts to cool off. And then it starts to sink. Hot things rise and cold things sink. Hot things rise and cold things sink. And it all has to do with density. Density. All right. Fantastic. So I want to kind of use that idea, everything that we've been talking about. I'm going to put my hot plate down so I don't get in trouble over here. I'm going to unplug it so it'll cool off. Okay, so first of all, this is a really fun little project to have, and you can just, as you go along, if you do it like this, it'll twirl because the air is pushing on it. Ooh, which is kind of what we're going to be talking about today. Parachutes. Okay, oh, I'm going to put my ice water away too because I don't want to spill it everywhere, and that's something that I would do. I sometimes spill things. That's the way it goes. Okay. So we're going to be talking about parachutes, right? There's air all around us. It's in our atmosphere. It's why we can breathe in our atmosphere. The atmosphere is made up of about 80% nitrogen and about 18% oxygen. We need that oxygen. And what we're going to do today is that we're going to make a parachute, and gravity is going to pull the parachute down, right? Gravity makes things fall. It pulls everything to the earth. But the air is going to get trapped underneath the parachute, and the air is going to be pushing back up, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about parachutes. I'm going to put this thing down about volcanoes, and we're going to talk about parachutes. Okay, there are two main parts of a parachute. There is the canopy, and there are the strings. And boys and girls, if we want to find out how to make the best parachute, or what parts we can change or we can test, what we do is that we use variables. We change some things, but we don't change everything at the same time. We just change a few things at a time, or one thing at a time. So we have the canopy and we have the strings. So these are the things that we're going to test today. We're going to test different canopy sizes. We're going to test different canopy material, and we're going to test the different length of the strings. So this is what I did. I got a bunch of different materials. Wow, hello, this is a dinosaur. I got a bunch of different materials. I tried to think about things that you guys would probably have at home. So I thought you probably would have napkins. paper napkins. And if you do, that's what we're gonna start with. I started with some paper napkins. I just got a paper napkin. And what I did is I cut some string that was all the same length. And what I did is I just took a book and I wrapped string around the book. And then I got some scissors and I cut it like this. And at one end, and now I have all these strings that are the same length, okay? And I'm gonna remember that one of the variables is the changing of the length of the string. So I got 3 different size books. I got a short book on, this is on the human body. This one is on hatching baby chicks. And this one is on bugs. So I can have 3 different lengths of string, okay? So I have one set of parachutes that are all the same size, all made out of some paper napkins, all the same material, and they have different lengths of string, okay? Then I have 3 more parachutes that all have the same length of string, but they all have different sizes. So this one is a smaller, then I have a medium and a large. Then I have 3 more parachutes that are all the same size, all the same length of string, but different materials. I have one made out of paper, I have one made out of a bandana, and I have one made out of a plastic trash bag. So we're gonna test these different materials. Now, I would like you to stop the video and go ask your parents if you can do this. I'm gonna stand on my table and drop the parachutes. Make sure that you are allowed to do that before you stand on the table and drop the parachutes. You know, we wanna be safe. So make sure that you ask permission from your parents, okay? So to build the parachute, what you need to do is get a napkin, and you need 4 pieces of string and some tape. And what I did is I just taped the string to the corners like that. And then I took the strings together and I tied them in a knot. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a clip on them. Now you don't have to use a clip. You could do something else, like that's what I thought. I could tie my dinosaur to the end, but they all have to have the same weight. And now I'm gonna test how it is when I drop the parachutes. So in order to do this, I'm gonna have to move my camera back, and it's gonna take me a little minute, and it's gonna be a little bit messy, but just bear with me, okay? So I'm gonna move my camera back, I'm gonna stand on the table, and I'm going to drop the parachutes, all right? Super fun. Here I go. I'm going to take this camera and I'm going to move way back here so that you can see when I stand on the table. Hello. Hello, boys and girls. All right. Let's see. Alrighty, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the first one. The first one is a paper parachute napkin, and it has a very long string. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold it up high, and I'm gonna see how long it takes to hit the ground. 1001, 1002, 2.5. I'm gonna get down carefully. So the long string, and I'm gonna write some notes up here too. So I'm gonna say, long string was 2.5 seconds. Okay, now I'm going to put this one aside, and I'm going to do the medium string. Medium string. First of all, wasn't that beautiful to see it float down? So gravity pulls it down, and the air gets trapped in the parachute and pushes back up. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. 1001, 1002, I think 2 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna write that down, 2 seconds. And that's the medium string. 2 seconds. Okay? And now I'm going to do the shortest string. Okay? Put the clip on, hold it up, and drop. 1001, 1002, oh, 3 seconds! Wow, I'm surprised. 3 seconds, that was a really good one. Okay, so the short string was 3 seconds. So right now the short string is looking pretty good. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to test is the size of the canopy. Okay, so all of these have the medium string, which is funny because I thought the medium string would be the best, but it looks like the short string might be better. But I have different sizes of the canopy. This canopy is the smallest canopy. It's the smallest napkin. Okay, are you ready? 1001, 1002, 1003. 3 seconds. So the smallest canopy had 3 seconds. Okay, I'm going to write that down. 3 seconds. Small canopy, 3 seconds. Okay, here we go. I'm now going to do the medium-sized canopy, and it has medium string. Okay, here we go. I'm going to hold it up. Ready? Go. 1001, 1002, 1003. 3 seconds. Okay. I'm going to write that down. Medium canopy, 3 seconds. Okay, now I'm going to get the largest canopy. It's my biggest napkin. I had a couple of really big napkins. And I have the medium string. And I'm going to see how it does. Ready? 1001, 1002, 1003. You know what? Just over 3 seconds. So the large canopy seemed to do really, really well. Okay, large canopy. And I'm going to say 3 seconds, just over. So maybe 3.15 or something like that. Okay, now the last thing I'm going to test is the material. So the first one I have is a bandana. So when I'm thinking about it, wow, the bandana is pretty heavy. I don't know how that's going to work. It's a little heavy. The cloth is thicker than the paper. That might catch the air more. I don't know. We're going to see. We're going to test and find out. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. 1001. Oops. I'm going to try it again because it came right to me. I want to have it not come onto the table. Try it again. Ready? Go. 1001, 1002. Not even 2 seconds. It actually hit the ground just before 2 seconds. So I would say the bandana is not very good. Now it could be because it's too heavy. So I'm going to say bandana is less than 2 seconds. Okay, now I've got a paper napkin. We'll see how this one goes. So this is a paper napkin. It's large with a medium string. Ready? 1001, 1002, 1003. Wow! 3 seconds. That was pretty good. Pretty good. So this was a paper napkin. And it was 3 seconds. Okay, the last one I'm going to test is plastic trash bag. So it's just one layer of a plastic trash bag. It's the same size as the bandana and the napkin. Okay, are you ready? 1001, 1002, 1003, I'd say 3.5 seconds. 3.5 seconds. Okay. Plastic. 3.5 seconds. Okay, now I'm going to bring you back up here and we're going to talk about it. See what we learned so far. Okay. All right, boys and girls. So what I want you to do is I want you to use this information to build the best parachute you can. When I look at the information, the long string was pretty good, but so was the short string. The short string was so good. The small canopy, all of the canopies, the large, so, I'm looking at the data. Large canopy was over 3 seconds, and the type of material, plastic, was the best. So if I were you, it's up to you, I would make a parachute out of a plastic bag that was flat, right? You could open it up, and I would use a large size, not as huge as a big plastic bag, but like maybe the size of a large napkin or the size of a bandana. And I would use either the long string or the medium string or the short string and test it out, see which one works best for you. Wow, I love parachutes. And you know, you could use a clip to hold on, to weight it down, or you could tie a dinosaur or something like that at the bottom. I've had a great time. I've had a great time with you guys this week. I hope you've had fun doing these science experiments with me. I just love science. But you know what? Through science, I've come to love music. I've come to love dance. I love all kinds of different things. I love math. Oh, science and numbers go together. Anyway, I hope you've had fun. I look forward to seeing you in class again soon. I'll be making some videos for you guys for your next week's science lessons. Take care, Cougars. Had a great time with you. Bye.